Hello students, today in our paper Organization Behavior with paper code BBAP 3305 we are going to do the topic of third unit, that is classification of groups and formal groups and informal groups. We are going to do formal groups and informal groups in detail. I am Ragini Dikshit, working as Assistant Professor, School of Management, PBD, University. Now, contents of this presentation are introduction, classification of groups, formal and informal groups, and finally the conclusion. Coming to the introduction point, a group is the arrangement of the individuals who have something in common. Either they possess a similar trait or falls into the same situation. So, group is the arrangement of individuals which have similar characteristics or traits and or they fall in the same situation. This association becomes a temporary identity of the individual who form it. Also, every group has its norms. Norms means rules or regulations. So, every group has its rules, regulations, its goals, composition and criteria. There are numerous types of groups which differ from each other because of their size, purpose, membership, criteria, formation, functioning, arrangement, etc. So, groups differ in their size, purpose, formation, functioning, arrangement, etc. In our daily lives, we come across this word group indefinite times. However, selecting a particular group may or may not be in the hands of its member. Each one of us belong to one or the other group in some manner. So, a group is arrangement of the individual who have something in common. Either they have similar characteristics or trait or they fall into the same situation. There are numerous types of groups and these groups differ in size, purpose, membership, functioning, formation, etc. And selecting a particular group may or may not be in the hands of its members. Now, coming to the classification of groups. A person becomes a part of a group knowingly or unknowingly and for a purpose or as a choice and for short term or long term. Now, groups can be differentiated into the following major categories. We can conclude from this diagram that groups in any organization are generally divided into two main streams. These are formal groups and informal groups. Now, we can see that formal groups are further divided into command groups, task groups and committees, while informal groups are further divided into interest groups, friendship groups, cliques, sub-cliques, Siles classification of groups. Now, this Siles classification of groups further divides informal groups into apathetic groups, erratic groups, strategic groups and conservative groups. Now, coming to the formal groups. When people collaborate to attain the organizational goal or objective, they are said to form a formal group. So, when people collaborate or people join to attain the organizational goal or objective, when the people come together to attain organizational goal or objective, so people come together in any organization to achieve the organization objective, they are said to form a formal group. Now, following are the three major types of formal groups which are generally formed in any organization. These are your command group, task group and committees. Coming to the command group is a result of hierarchical arrangement in an organization. As the name suggests, it is command. So, a command group is made up of superiors and their subordinates representing the flow of command or orders from top to bottom level. So, command group consists of superior and subordinates. Now coming to the task group. Task group, a group which includes individuals with different skills and knowledge to successfully carry out the assigned project, is called a task group. So, in this task group, different individuals with different skills and knowledge come together to complete a particular project or task. This is called task group. Now, committees. For the special assignment or project, a group is formed by appointing the specialist or people with expert knowledge, or you can say with superior knowledge, which is termed as a committee. This committee group is formed by the people having the expert knowledge, or they are expert in that particular field. Generally in committee, after the project responsibilities are executed successfully, the members can dissociate from the committee. Now, coming to the informal groups. When the individuals associate with one another to serve their common interest or for self-satisfaction. When individuals join together for their common interest or for self-satisfaction, they are known to form an informal group. And some of the examples of the informal groups are interest group, friendship group, cliques and sub-clique. Now, interest group, the individuals who join hands for a common purpose that is related to their self-interest, create an interest group. What are the friendship group? Friendship groups which is formed as a result of personal choice by the individuals who are already familiar and feel comfortable with one another. That is, because of they have familiarity with one another and they feel comfortable in each other's company, they form friendship groups. Coming to the clique. In workplace also, we form informal groups. These workplace informal groups are between the employees are known as cliques. In a workplace, few colleagues join hands to form a small group, usually with 2 to 6 members, to share ideas and thoughts on their mutual interest. Now, what are these sub-cliques? When a clique comprises of few organizational employees, some are organizational employees along with some non-employees who are associated with the other members in either way, is termed as a sub-clique. So, sub-clique is formed of organizational employees as well as non-employees. Now, coming to the Siles classification of informal group. L.R. Siley categorized the groups into the following types depending upon the degree of pressure prevalent in each group. These are categorized as apathetic group, erratic group, strategic group and conservative groups. Now, coming to the apathetic group. The group in which the leader does not pressurize the member. Moreover, leadership is hardly widespread. It is termed as an apathetic group. Means leaders does not pressurize its members, group members, and usually it is formed by the lower level workers who are unskilled and work on low wages. Now, coming to the erratic group. These, when the people belonging to groups gets enraged quickly and similarly calm down, they are said to be in erratic group. Members of this group, they get enraged quickly also and they calm down quickly also. And such a group comprise of semi-skilled workers who perform tasks desiring communication between them. So, apathetic group is formed by the non-skilled workers, erratic group is formed by the semi-skilled workers. Now, coming to the strategic groups. Such a group include skilled workers who hold various job positions to execute the independent technological tasks. These members have the skills of systematically applying pressure on the management and the other groups by framing a suitable strategy. So, this strategic group is formed by the skilled workers, and they apply pressure on the management as well as other groups through by framing suitable strategies. Now, coming to the conservative groups. The group which comprises of the stable and highly skilled individuals or professionals. Conservative groups comprises of stable and highly skilled individuals or professionals, and they have extreme powers to regulate the functioning of the organization. Means they can pressurize the management for their need. That is, they have extreme power to regulate the functioning of the organization. It is called as conservative group. Now, Apathetic group formed by the unskilled workers, and here the leader puts minimum pressure. Erratic group is formed by the semi-skilled workers, and here the people gets enraged quickly and similarly calm down. Strategic groups, they apply pressure to the management as well as on the other groups by framing suitable strategies, and this group is formed by the skilled workers. Conservative groups, the group which comprises of the stable and highly skilled individuals and have extreme power to regulate the functioning of the organization, that is pressurize the organization, and is called as conservative group. Some other types of groups are membership and reference groups. We can also distinguish between the different groups by the need for official registration of the members into the following two categories. On the basis of official registration, groups can be classified into membership and reference group. In membership group, we need to get officially registered and get a card or certificate for our membership. In reference group, it may not be a real association of individuals, and illusionary group to which an individual relates herself due to the same profession or other similar attribute is called a reference group. For example, I can relate myself to the education group. I belong because I am in that profession. So membership group, in membership group is a group in which the members must get themselves registered and acquire membership, while reference group is used for reference, and it can be a illusionary group also. Then coming to the small and large group, based on the number of members involved in the group, it can be small and large. Generally, in a small group, the number of members are 3 to 10 members, while in large group, the number of members are more than 10 members. Now, coming to organized and unorganized groups. Given below is the categorization of the groups in terms of its structure and bonding among the group members. Now, groups are classified on the basis of structure and bonding among the group members. These are organized group and unorganized group. Organized group, when the individuals belonging to a particular discipline work together systematically as a team. By supporting each other, they are said to be in organized group. So members of this group work in discipline and work together, and system wise they work. As a team they work. It is known as organized group. Unorganized group, the disorganized group is not formed purposefully. Instead, the individual just happen to fall into a single group, where they neither have any attachment to one another nor any belongingness. That is unorganized group. Now, coming to in and outgoing groups. We can also distinguish among groups according to the belongingness and involvement of the individuals. In group, a group where an individual is socially active and adopts strong values from other members, it is termed as in groups. Means the members of this group are socially active and they adopt values from each other, that is in group. Now, what is outgoing group? The other groups except the prevalent in group, where no intergroup exchange of value is facilitated, is termed as outgoing group. Means no values are exchanged between different groups, that is outgoing group. Now, coming to temporary and permanent group, a group can be formed for a short period or a long period. According to this, the groups can be categorized into temporary group and permanent group. Temporary group, when the individuals come together for a particular task, project, and they are known to be in a temporary group. Such a group disintegrates after the successful completion or performance of the task. That is temporary group. It is formed for a particular task, for a particular purpose. Then permanent group, such groups represent a long-term association of the group members, and here people belonging to a particular organization are known to be in a single group. Means that is their permanent group. They belong to a particular organization. They belong to that group and it is permanent. Now, Nominal and non-performing groups. Based on the need for action, groups can also be bifurcated into the following types. These are nominal groups and non-performing groups. Nominal groups. The groups in which the members are involved in problem solving, taking up challenges and carry out operations is termed as nominal group, means performing group. And non-performing groups is just the opposite of the performing group. That is where whenever the individuals are put together in a single group just on a sheet of paper, however they do not carry out any task, they tend to be in a non-performing group. That is, they don't carry out any functions together or work together. They are in the group just for the sake of their name in that group. That is non-performing group. Now, coming to the accidental and purposive groups, the purpose of group formation provides a basis for its classification into following two categories. That is, accidental group, when a group is formed coincidentally or unknowingly, that too without any purpose. It is known as accidental group. Purposive group, when it is formed with any aim, task, that is, or any purpose. It is a purposive group. Now, open and closed group. Based on the scope of entry and exit of the members, the group can also be categorized. That is, open group and closed group. As the name suggests, in open group, any member can come and leave the group, while in closed group, the restricted group where no further entries are entertained is called as closed group. Now, next is our formal and informal groups. What are formal groups? We are going to do in detail. What are their characteristics, their advantages, disadvantages, and what is the difference between formal and informal groups. Now, coming to the formal groups first. Formal groups are created to achieve specific organizational objectives. Usually they are concerned with the coordination of work activities. So, formal groups are generally created to achieve specific organizational objectives. People are brought together based on different roles within the structure of the organization, and the nature of the task to be undertaken is a predominant feature of the formal groups. Here the people are brought together based on different roles within the structure of the organization, and these people generally work to achieve specific organizational objectives. Goals are identified by the management and short and rules relationship and norms of behavior established. Formal groups tend to be related to permanent, although there may be changes in actual membership. These groups are generally permanent, although members of this group can be changed. However, temporary formal groups may also be created by management. For example, the use of project teams in a matrix organization. So, formal groups can be permanent formal groups or temporary formal groups. Now, coming to informal groups characteristics. Within the formal structure of the organization, there will always be an informal structure. The formal structure of the organization and system of role, relationship, rules and procedure will be augmented by interpretation and development at the informal level. Informal groups are generally based on personal relationship and agreement of groups members, then on defined role relationship. They are based on personal relationship, then on the role relationship, while formal groups are based on defined role relationship. Here the groups are based on personal relationship and agreement of group members. This serves to satisfy psychological and social needs not necessarily related to the task to be undertaken. These informal groups generally satisfy psychological and social needs, and these needs are generally not related to the task these group members perform in any organization. Now, group may devise ways of attempting to satisfy members' affiliation and other social motivation that are lacking in the work situation, especially in industrial organization. These types of groups generally they attempt to satisfy members' affiliation and other social motivation that they generally do not get from the get in the formal environment of the organization. Now, coming to the advantages of formal groups. These formal groups helps to capitalize the expertise of each individual towards the accomplishment of complex tasks. Through formal groups are formed by the organizations, so the expertise of each group member can be utilized to accomplish complex tasks. Formal groups generally use of synergy, that is collective effort of group members, and yields better result than an individual working separately. Now, to facilitate a proper decision making, as with many people in a group, the conflicting ideas and thoughts arise, and that could be considered to formulate a better decision. So, formal groups can help in better decision making also. Now, to help others in a group to learn new skills and to know about the details of the organizational environment. These formal groups help others also to learn new skills, other group members also to learn new skills and to know about the details of the organizational environment. Now, these formal groups also helps to satisfy the personal needs of social affiliation, that is, need to get accepted by the others. Now, coming to the disadvantages of formal organization, influenced by rationality. These are logical based for organization, formal groups or organization, and leaves no scope for personal, social, and emotional factors. It may lead to demotivation of employees. They operate within set boundaries, that is boundaries of the organization, and following scalar chain and chain of command, action get delayed in formal groups because they have to take permission. These formal groups, while doing any job or any task, they have to take permissions from their leaders. That is why here the chain of actions get delayed. Now, here leadership is based on formal authority and position. Leader is based on for its authority and position. It is not leader does not play the role of coach or mentor in formal organization or formal groups. Now, coming to the advantages of informal groups. The different advantages of informal groups are: informal groups create pleasant work environment. People can enjoy in each other company. All the need and desires of the members are easily satisfied. Work performance become easier. Communication is facilitated because of informal groups. They provide psychological support to each other. It establishes group standard of performance because they belong to a particular group, so they have to perform according to the group standards. Then need for close group supervision is also minimized because each and everybody feels its responsibility because they belong to a particular group. Then group lead to organization and development and facilitate research and innovation. Group cohesiveness reduces employee turnover and absentees because group members feel associated with each other, so it helps in reducing turnover and absenteeism among the members. It develops group spirit and pride, and members of highly cohesive group feels less nervous because they are held by the other group members. Now, coming to the disadvantages, some advantages are also there of informal groups. These are: informal groups often establish production norms below the physical capabilities of their members. They establish certain production norms or rules which are below the which few members are not able to perform. Group insist on the observation of the group norms. Then group's cohesiveness impedes acceptance of new employees. It does not accept new employees in that particular group or in that organization so easily. Groups often hide their innovation from management and adopt them in their own interest. Groups often oppose the management policies and procedures. Then group often spread rumors affecting the smooth functioning of the organization. Groups often demand a price for cooperation. And jurisdictional disputes among group create problems for management. So these are the disadvantages of some of the disadvantages of informal groups in organization. Now, We can compare the formal groups and informal groups on these bases, certain bases. These are meaning. Formal group generally created by the organization, and they are generally formed or to accomplish a particular or a specific task or a project. For informal groups are generally created by the individual themselves, that is groups created by the employees themselves for their own sake, or are known as informal groups. Then their formation is done, informal group formation is done deliberately, and informal groups are formed voluntarily by the group members. Size, generally size of the formal group is large, and informal group as compared to formal group is smaller. Then life of the formal group depends on the type of group which is formed. If it is temporary, then the life is less. If it is permanent, the life is more. Then informal group, it depends on the members, how much or how long they want to get remain associated with each other. Then coming to the structure, formal group structure is well defined, and informal group structure is not well defined. The importance in formal group is given to position, while the importance in informal group is given to person. Now coming to the relationship, relationship of informal group is professional, while in informal group it is personal, it is based on personal relationship. Now coming to the communication. Now communication moves in defined direction from where it is that, like for in command group, it flows from top to bottom. So communication in formal group is defined in which direction it has to flow, while in informal group the communication stretches in all the direction. So these are the differences between the formal group and informal group, and on the basis of following factors. First is meaning. Formal groups are created by the group's organization, and they are generally created to accomplish a specific task, while the informal groups are created by employees themselves and for their own sake. Then formal groups are formed deliberately, while informal groups are formed voluntarily. Then size of formal group is generally large, and informal group is comparatively small as compared to formal groups. Then life of the formal groups depends on the type of group it is formed. It can be permanent and it can be temporary. If it is temporary, then the life is small. If it is permanent, the life is large. Then informal group, it depends on the members, whether how much life it is going to have, whether it going to last longer or it has a short lifespan. It will depend on the group members, for how much duration they want to be associated with each other. Then coming to the structure, structure is well defined. In formal groups or in formal organizations, the structure is well defined. Now they are going to function, what authority, what role or responsibilities each group member has, while in informal groups the structure is not well defined. Now coming to the formal group, the importance is, in formal group the importance is given to position, while in informal group the importance is given to person. Now coming to relationship, formal group relationships, in formal group relationship is professional, while in informal group relationship is personal. Communication moves in a defined direction in formal groups. In informal groups, communication moves in all the direction. Now this was all about your formal groups and informal groups. That is, we can see this classification once again. For these are types of groups. Generally types of groups which we see in any organization is formal groups and informal groups. Now formal groups can be command group, task group and committees, and informal groups can be your interest group, friendship group, cliques and sub-cliques. Then Siley's classification of groups. According to Siley classification of groups, groups can be categorized as apathetic groups, erratic groups, strategic groups and conservative groups. Apart from these types of groups or these these types of groups. Some other types of groups which are found in organization or in a environment are your membership and reference group. That is, if you require member of a if you want to become the member of a particular group, you require to get the certificate or card, that is membership group. And reference group, if you belong to that group, it is an illusionary group. And if somehow you are associated, if you have you are in the same profession, or you have the similar attributes, you belong to that particular group, that is your reference group. Small and large groups, now it depends upon the number of members. Then organize how the structure, how that group function, it has proper structure or bonding among the group members. It can be organized and organized in and outgoing groups, how the members of the group adopts values from each other. It will decide whether it is in group or it is outgoing group. Now next is your temporary and permanent group, depending upon the duration for which that group is formed. If it is formed for a particular project or task, it is temporary group. It can be permanent group. Then nominal and non-performing groups. Nominal, you can say it is performing, and non-performing groups, if the group performs, it take up challenges, it carry out operations, it helps in problem solving, then it is performing groups. And if the group members does not perform any functions, they are group member just for the sake of pen and paper, then that group is known as non-performing groups. Then accidental or purposive group, if group forms, members come together just accidentally or unknowingly, then the group is formed, it is known as accidental group. And if the group members comes with a definite aim or task, then it is purposive group. Open and closed groups, it depends upon the entry and exit of the members. If the group members can freely enter and exit the group, it is open group. And if that entry or exit is restricted, it is closed group. Then comes to the formal and informal groups. Now formal groups are generally created to achieve specific organizational objectives, and informal groups are based on personal relations and agreement of group members, then on defined role relationships. Then these are various advantages and disadvantages of formal and informal groups. Then we have done differences between formal and informal group. We have done these differences on the basis of meaning, formation, size, life, structure, importance, relationship, and communication. Now coming to the conclusion, understanding the various types of groups becomes a necessity while planning and analyzing group dynamics. Group dynamics means how these group members are going to relate or function with each other, that is group dynamics. So we have to understand which type of group it is, then we can easily understand the functioning of that particular group. An influential group emerges as an efficient and well defined or well coordinated team. If that group is influential, if it works properly, then it will surely emerge as a well coordinated team. Thank you, class.